Hello, welcome to February 15th, 2026. It's a Sunday. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a live video broadcast exercise that I do each and every day at 5:30 a.m. to remember, reflect upon, and apply the values, namely the objectives and principles codified in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about yesterday and think about where I had any trouble, where I didn't do very well, so that I can think about how I could have done better. I try to go over where I did well with challenges and opportunities, so that I can reflect on how it is that I did well and how I can do more of that. I go over my creed and I prepare for the coming day. So before I do any of that, though, I like to give a hearty shout out to new subscribers to the channel. Welcome. And a thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate you very much. This is a live journal entry, so think of it like that. So as such, although I do have a loose outline of notes that I'll follow, I'm at liberty to talk about anything I like for as long or as little as I like. Don't be surprised if I talk about death, namely my own preparations for death. It's a regular topic, an important topic for me, and not just incidental or it's not certainly not intended to be inflammatory in any way. It's preparatory to make sure that I'm getting ready for to getting that I'm living well in preparation for not living any longer. And goodness, the candle is making some interesting things. I'm using out of desperation. I ran out of my normal candles. I'm using a traditional Japanese candle, two of them actually today that I bought. Wasn't cheap. It was 300 yen. Um, so dear light, to be sure. All right, well, let's go ahead and it seems to burn very brightly compared to standard candles. Have a look. Let's just compare the difference real quick. Traditional. I mean modern. Traditional. I know where I can get some more. Hey, and there's a comment from Tim. Hello, good morning, Tim. I can see. Thank you for chiming in, and I'm glad. Hope there's no audio issues. And Tim says the weather check for the UK at 8:33 p.m. is 2.9 degrees Celsius and 74% humidity. A cloudless, blue skies, sunny, crisp day. Beautiful. Wow. It's even on the positive side of the temperature, and no more wind, no more snow, no more rain. Hopefully you've got well, I know you're winding your day down. Audio is good. Thank you, Tim. All right, let's get into it. So there's not much to get into. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and Yumiko and I had planned to go to the nearby community town, would be the proper word for it, called Kambara, to enjoy a nice go to a coffee shop slash what do they call patissier, something like that. With cakes and stuff like that. We wanted to invite sister-in-law Yoko to join us, but she was indisposed, so we decided to flip the script. We made today, uh, s- yesterday, so today's going to be kind of our Valentine's Day, which we share with my sister-in-law, and the three of us are going to go to Kambara and have, like I said, have a nice lunch. We'll have lunch with Dad, and then what we're going to do is we're going to. It's a lot. We're actually going to squeeze in a lot today. I'm going to finish this. No real exercise today because it's Sunday. I'm going to, Rudy and I, who's lounging very peacefully right there. Hey, Rudy. Rudy and I are going to head up to Nihondaira to meet my friends, meet the fellas. After that, Yumiko and Yoko are going to head over to the um, antique flea market. And then I'm going to meet them there from Nihondaira, which means I need to pick up my breakfast somewhere along the way. And then we're going to do antiquing at the flea market, and then then we'll come back to the house. We'll have lunch with Dad, and then we'll go to Kambara, and we're going to look around and see if we can find some neat, like little thrift stores, antique stores, recycle stores, whatever we can find there. So that's pretty much the day, and I'm hoping that I can get some more time in the garden. I killed it yesterday. I made a Mount Fuji of compost material. and I picked a spot for the compost, kind of in the I'm calling it the river plot. What did I call it? There's the watermelon patch, the watermelon patch in the garden, the garden patch, which it was for proper, rows of whatever tomatoes and ever, and then I'm creating the river patch, was over where by the river, where will be where I'll put, or maybe I'll rename it. Oh, that's where I'm creating a big compost bin. And I moved a whole bunch of material there, got a good portion of the bamboo forest floor cleaned out. We're ahead of spreading some of the compost that I made in it 2 weeks ago, which is getting nicely seasoned. I think with a good solid 3 hours, I could do the last of the movement of the debris. Hmm. What I mean by debris is the old sticks and twigs and waste and bamboo waste from practically from before we even bought the house. It was there before we bought it. That will give me a nice level floor in the bamboo forest that I can then use as the base and foundation going forward. That's today. So that's all I got into today already. I already explained today. I'm all mixed up and backwards. Okay, so I finished the first part. Now let's go into the last 24 hours. There's not much to say. Yesterday was just the sweetest of days. I remember the term I used to use maybe 2 or 3 months ago, PEF, peaceful, easy feeling, which I haven't known much of for quite a while since the horror show situation, began in October. Oh, it was back. Yesterday was the most delightful day. Just at peace in the garden, doing my work, enjoying it. I really didn't know that life could be like that, and it's worth waiting for. I wish that I could, in a way, teleport back to myself when I was in my 40s, and in the struggling so hard, to raise a family and sustain and while I was in my 40s, I was trying to regain my career, right? I had come to Japan and I had lost my career track because I couldn't do it from here. Or at least I didn't find a way that I could. And I wanted to get back to America so that I could resume my career. And I was struggling. And then when I got back to America, in the cusp between 40s and 50s, began the long uphill 11-year climb to rebuild my career, and all the stress that was attendant to the pathways, the efforts of towards success, which success. I used to kind of frown on that word success, like it was something something other people did, and like I used to think that it was a distraction that caused people unnecessary heartache and pain. Pursuing something when I had this kind of like this youthful, dare I say, sophomoric opinion that success was what Thoreau did. Simplicity, 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 and I do believe that that is the case. But there's also the responsibility that arrives incumbent upon decisions to, for example, marry, and especially the decision to have children and to provide and maintain. And there is a type of a return guarantee. Of course, it's well, it's not, the word guaranteed almost slipped out, but it's not guaranteed, which is the thing. When we decide to have children, it takes hard work and effort to fulfill the uh, again, to use that word, the incumbent responsibilities that arrive with that. And boy, for 20, 30 years maybe, that rode me hard. Wow, this candle's really going nuts. I've got two of these Japanese candles going. This is the other one, the smaller one. And look at you can see how tall it is. Look, can you see the top of the wick? Oh my gosh, it's really burning fast too. It's going to go down quick. You get the idea. Anyway, yesterday was none of that. And I wish that I could have taken I wish we could bottle up yesterday and send it back to 48-year-old me and say, "Hey, just hang in there. This is waiting. This is you get to the end. You'll make it. Just don't give up. You'll make it." And this is the type of day that we'll be waiting. Now I know that it won't be forever. You know, Old age and disease are hot on my heels now. Death, no less, any day. Told you, talk about it. At least, if not in fact, at least in principle. That's how I live. But it was a great day. All right. So my 8 objectives of my creed are to: 1, be always ready to die, having affairs, relationships, and life's work in a satisfactory state. Secondly, to make good and effective use of my days. Thirdly, to develop and maintain sound objectives and principles, and good as well, that lead to virtuous ends, if applied. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions, probably the most active objective in my creed, reinforced and made possible by virtue of hashtag temperance, one of the virtues, one of the principles. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to the aforementioned values. 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I don't strive towards things which are impossible, nor neglect the things that are within the scope of capability that I decide that I need to do. 6 is to do just one, sorry, to 7, that is, to do just one thing at a time and do it slowly and deliberately and carefully. And number 8, to attain and then maintain and sustain, and then, if necessary, regain my balance in both my mind and my body, which comes not of overt effort so much as a consequence, an emergent property of attendance to the aforementioned 6 objectives. As for principles, today I'm going to read a short principle, really short in description. Well, wow, is that a full 12 chimes? Very rare to hear. According to the clock, it says it's 3 o'clock. When it's not 3 o'clock at all, it's more like 5:45 a.m. That's my clock. All right, so let's read script writing. Script writing. Oh, what is it? It's all about basically forecasting, rehearsing maybe, and deciding our actions and responses. Foreseeing how things are, how what's coming up, and writing the script ourselves. Doesn't mean we're going to get to or be allowed to even follow the script, but at least it's an effort, and I found that it usually yields better ends than just winging it. Script writing. Life presents us always, until death, with an almost clean and clear canvas of whatever available time we've left. We may use this canvas to either live whatever life happens to us, or to take more active control of our days, hours, and minutes in order to seemingly manage and guide our path according to our seeming will and in adjustment with our hard won and decided values, goals, and best practice. This script writing, in quotation marks, requires effort and imagination, as well as optimism, if we are to aim our living in the perceived and decided direction of virtue, and to make the most of whatever brief days we have yet the chance to live, experience, and hopefully enjoy. Days lived less as the experience of happenstance and consequence, and more of decided outcome and decided procedural engagement. It's a tricky one to think about, that last one, deciding how we're going to engage with the world. all the while somehow, well, we've got a script in mind, also being all right when the script, when we have to, when the script falls down, or we lose the script, or circumstances demand that we otherwise, and we don't get to exercise the script. That's a tricky balance. Hashtag. All right. As for today, I've already covered today. I already told you what I'm going to do. So let's just get on to comments as these candles burn down. Look at these things. I can just turn the camera on. Hold on. That is burning. Look at the size of those flames. Oh yeah, and the live camera's been going. Hi, live people. There's one person watching right now. It's been live since yesterday. Look at the size of that flame relative to this flame over here. That's a monster of a flame, isn't it? Those are two traditional Japanese candles. They have a large top and then tapering down to a narrower wick. Heck, the one on the bottom, the big one on the left, has its price tag still. I paid 100 yen for the little one and 300 yen for the bigger one at an antique store. And I didn't really intend to use them. I just wanted to kind of hold on to them, but I ran out of candles, so here we go, burning them up. There's something in that, I think. All right, returning back to comments. Hello again, Tim, and thanks for the weather check for myself here. It looks like we're heavily into the positive. I'd say that's a good solid 7 degrees today. Wow, it's going to be warm. Tim says, "Oh, thank you for the audio check, Tim." There's Elvina. Hello, Elvina. And Elvina says hello to myself and Tim. This afternoon, it's 2 degrees. We're all, look at us. We're the positive weather club. Positive, no negative weather today. But two is just above it, right? And overcast. The snow is nicely melting off our roof finally. Wow. Tim says hello to Elvina. R RIP 3521. Hello, RIP 3521. I think this is the first time I've seen your name. Nice to meet you. Relax, Kurt. If anyone I know lives to be 100, it will be you. That would be interesting. I don't know that I necessarily want to live that long, but that would certainly be interesting. Uh, Tim says, and welcome. It's good to have you here. Tim says, it was really a good day for a walk today. No rain or wind, just lovely sunny skies. Talk about lifting the spirits after a month and a half of cloud and rain. You've had just the most torrential, windy, rainy, wet, and snowy start of a year I've ever heard anyone see, ever heard of, Tim. It's quite amazing. Gaijin Guru hyphen N9B. Hello, nice to meet you. I don't want to live past 75. There's diminishing returns on living that long. Yeah. I think there are indeed diminishing returns. You know, it's interesting. You bring up an interesting point, though. What criteria we would like to have? Well, I wouldn't want to live in very much pain, and I would like to have my mental faculties not. I don't. They don't need to stay sharp, but at least enough that I can entertain myself with thinking would be nice. That would be nice. But there's definitely a use by date for me. I mean, it's like a carton of milk that you might be able to drink that, but do you really want to? You might want to live another year, but do I really want to? I don't know. Elvina, hello, Elvina. Elvina says, I left the formal workplace when my oldest daughter was born and was able to go back to work when my youngest was in school full time. It was stressful but rewarding in the end. I love my work. That's wonderful. Gaijin Guru says, John Lennon said it best. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. That's a great quote. Tim says, if I lived life again, I would ask myself if I could, when I look back at what I, if I, wait, hold on. If I lived life again, I would ask myself if I could, when I look back at what it took, I think, how did I manage that? But I guess if you relived it, you would get through it, perhaps even better. Look back at my, hold on. If I live life again, I would ask myself if I could, when I look back at what it took, I think, how did I manage? Oh, okay. When you look back now and you think, how did I manage that? But I guess if you relived it, you would get through it perhaps even better. Oh, I see what you're saying, right? I mean, me too. I don't, half the things that I undertook, I'm like, how did I, what nuts? what craziness was that to think I could pull that off? You're right, and somehow we find a way. But, geez, aren't you glad you're beyond that now, Tim? Just we can go for our walks, hang out in the garden, and they call it. I guess they do call it the golden years for a reason, right? Tim says, Friday night is my winding clocks night. Ooh, I love that idea of a winding clocks night. My clock lasts about a week and a half on a wind. I have 4 clocks, 3 bell strikes, and 1 gong, and a partridge in a pear tree. No, I added that part. I love that. You have 4 clocks, 3 bell strikes, and 1 gong. Somehow yesterday I managed to get them all in sync and in their strikes. LOL. It gets a little noisy. That is lovely. I would love to have to hear that. Wow, 3 strikes and one. That reminds me of those images of a clock shop, all going off at once. I guess that would be the measure of a well-run clocksmith, right? If their clock shop became a cacophony at the top and bottom of every hour. Evelyn, hey, there's Evelyn. I was just wondering if we are going to see you because sometimes I know you're always. Sometimes you've got stuff in you're doing, right? You're busy stuff. Good to see you. Evelyn says hello to Tim, Elvina, Rip 3521, and Gaijin Guru. Elvina says, I love the sound of ticking and chiming clocks. Me too. I want to fill my little room here with at least 3 or 4. Probably take Tim's guidance there. No more than 4 ticking, chiming, gonging devices. Well, although for me, Tim, I'm quite all right if none of them keep proper time. I've got this new clock I bought over here that doesn't keep time either, but it doesn't even stay running. It stopped. Tim says, "I wonder if a large candle top is to produce a larger flame." Good question. I don't know. I don't. It certainly does. It burns like a bonfire. Elvina says hello to Evelyn. Claude, hey Claude, good to see you. Sunny and warm El Paso, Texas. Greetings to all. How are the preparations coming for your next Shikoku pilgrimage? April, hello, April. Hi, everyone. Glad I didn't miss it all. Glad to see you, April. Nope, we're still going, but not for long. But just about to wind up. Got to head up to the top of the mountain to hang out with my friends. Yeah, I've got friends. Can you believe that? It's interesting. It took about a year to get settled here. I came over here. I had friends when I moved over, but making new friends and seeing people and routines, it's kind of fun. Tim says, I would hope the body goes before the mind for me, I think. Losing your memory is perhaps the worst. Mm. Mm. That's kind of a sober thought, huh? Elvina says hello to Claude and April, aka Udatsu Adventures. Uh, Evelyn says, Hi, Claude. Tim says, Sorry, sometimes I try to squeeze in my comment by compacting it as you only have so much space to type. No, I am a big fan of that. I only was hesitating and reading and rereading your comment because it's so important to me that I understand what you're saying. That's why, because I enjoy everything that everybody writes here, and I know sometimes I try to read over sometimes. Um, I read over typos and just try to figure out what it is. But sometimes the ideas, your thoughts are a little. Sometimes I love winding thoughts, like Emerson or Thoreau would write. And so please squeeze as much in there as you want as you can, and I'll do my best to extract the juice. And it's fun. It's like a puzzle for me sometimes. Uh, and just not to dwell on it too long. I love a well composed thought, a thought that interposes sub thoughts within it. That is a thing of beauty to encounter good writing that way. Tim says hello to Evelyn. Robert, hey Robert, good to see you. Says hello to myself, Evelyn, Claude, Tim, Elvina, and notes that it's currently 2 degrees Celsius and 68% humidity with an air quality index of 60 in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. Good to see you, Robert. Robert says hello to April as well. And Robert rarely misses anybody. And Tim says hi to Robert. Evelyn says, for some reason, I was watching the garden live stream, only realized when I saw comments from all new people. Was that you over there watching? Oh, that must have been you. Okay. So you were on that camera for a second. Hmm. I wonder how the audio is away over there. Because can you guys hear me on the live stream over there? I wonder. April says, I checked the garden stream yesterday when the camera was still in the study, and I knew the clock was fast, but didn't realize how fast until I heard it ticking away. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Claude, it's got something you can adjust it, but even the adjustment didn't change its madness. Claude says, Shikoku in autumn. No preparations, just going with the flow. Very nice. Evelyn says hello to Robert and Ms. Udatsu. Sagar 90. Hello, Sagar 90. Welcome. My first time catching this. Enjoying it so far. Do you make audiobooks? I no, not necessarily, but Going Alone, this book is probably at least more than half of it is in an audiobook form. I have recorded it. If you look through my channel, you'll find the audiobook playlist, and I have at least half the chapters that laid out there in audiobook form. It's a each video each it's one video for each chapter. Boy, that was hard making and getting through the whole chapter in one slog. That's the best I've got at this point. My goal is to finish all of them, but it's not an abiding or it's not a goal that I'm hanging my hat on. I'm okay dying without completing that particular goal. And welcome again, Sagara Sad 90. Tim says, "Oh no, just seen the forecast for tonight. Oh, let me guess. Snow turning to rain. Just oh yeah, there you go. Well, what can we say, Tim? At least you had a one day of sun, right? Renaissance, hey Renaissance, good to see you. Hi everyone. Not much to say today, but ready to listen. Wonderful, good to have you here. Robert says hello to Sagar 90. Tim says hello to Renaissance. Sagar 90 says hello to Robert. Renaissance says hi to Tim, and Sagar 90 says I will check it out for sure. Thank you. All right, well, I've reached the end of comments, and I think I'll go ahead and wrap things up. And as the flames die down, let's take a last look at the what's left of my traditional Japanese candles. The one on the left is still burning brightly, and the one on the right is about to die down. Again, the flames are far more. Look at the difference between these traditional candles and that more modern candle. And I will wrap things up. A few last comments here. Robert says hello to Renaissance. Renaissance says hi to Robert. Nice day to all. Elvina says, "Have a great day, everyone. You too, everybody. I hope everybody has a nice day." Oh, and I want to thank, um, uh, who was it yesterday that left the comment? Actually wrote it up on the blackboard here. See you in the garden. That's going to be the new tag phrase for it all. Was that you, April, who said that yesterday? See you in the garden. If so, I have a eternal thanks to offer you for giving me my new tagline on my garden videos. Um, and nice. It was good, Evelyn. It's good to have you catch up, and it's always good to see you in comments. I know you've got a lot going on. It was you, April. Okay, thank you very much. You can see I actually wrote it. I wrote it right up there. I don't know if it's you can read that. And I'm going to be closing all of my garden videos and maybe even my at home in Japan videos with that line instead of saying be safe but not too safe. Maybe I'll say be safe but not too safe for this video, and then see you in the garden for the others. But thank you, April. I really do appreciate that. Take care, everybody. See you in the garden. Bye bye, and enjoy your day. And happy Valentine's Day for those that are experiencing it in the past. Those folks in the past. Bye bye.